Welcome to another episode of the Empowered Learning Podcast, where we explore conversations that fuel growth, impact, and purpose. Today, I'm joined by someone whose journey speaks to the power of transformation through truth, Molly Trotter-Gomez. From her early days as a television news anchor to becoming an international speaker and the founder of Signature Story Co., Molly has helped countless leaders find their voice, own their story, and build personal brands that truly stand out. But beyond the bio, Molly's story is about courage, the kind it takes to walk away from what looks successful on the outside and pursue alignment on the inside. In this conversation, we unpack everything from identity and emotional healing to bold faith, confidence, and redefining abundance. Let's get into it. Hello, Molly. How are you today?
I'm great, Andy. I'm so happy to be here. How are you?
I'm doing great. I appreciate you being here. We met just a few weeks ago, but hit it off, and you were on an awesome summit that I was a member of. You were a speaker, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we've got to connect at a little bit longer than just the little time that we had together that day. So I thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I'm excited to dive into our conversation.
Yes, I'm excited to hear all the questions. I know you have some good ones geared up, so bring them on.
I got you. All right. Well, let's get it kicked off. So, you talk about a story brand and this kind of stuff. So I would love to know what makes a signature story, right? That's your title, your signature story. Well, how is that different than a bio or a resume pitch? And if listeners are listening on and needing to understand, why do I need that? Do I not need that? So what makes it different? And why does every leader need one of those?
Yes, to build just a short bit of context before I share why people need
Sure.
this. It's not even like should I? It's like you should and you need
Okay,
it.
gotcha. Not a question.
A little bit of context as being a former news anchor and reporter. I told so many stories, many that
Mhm,
I felt like, okay, those are depressing. Those don't really
mhm,
matter.
mhm.
Very few. I was like, ooh, these are really good. This is
Right.
going to get to the hearts of people. People love hearing stories and
Mhm.
feeling them too. And so
Right.
the context I had to give around that is when we are scrolling online, when we are hearing things, we are
Mhm,
running through the back of our mind. Do we
mhm,
connect with this? Do we feel
mhm.
something here or do we not? And
Right.
so people with a bio, with a resume, it's very just kind of cut and dry. Here are the facts, which there are a lot of people out there that just want the facts, and that's great. But a signature story does one key thing. It builds an emotional bridge between you
Okay.
and your audience. And without that, they are going to keep scrolling. So the people who know how to do this well, and this is always a great time to get started if you've never done this, or to
Right.
refine this, is because people want to connect now more
Mm,
than ever. With AI,
mm.
with everything out there, it's great, but it can't take over the feeling and the connection that people have. And so a lot of people need to realize it's not should I have this? It's like, yes, you should.
Yes, absolutely. No, I love that. And I think you are spot on with this because as the emergence, I mean, we're past the beginning of AI, right? Now this is just the emergence and how deep do we go down the rabbit hole?
Yes.
I think you're right. People are wired for connection, and there's definitely, while it might be efficient and there's some good things for that, when it comes to people, we want to connect with a real person, not with just a carefully crafted word and this kind of stuff. So I completely agree with you.
Yes, yes. It's so I've heard so many leaders, and I get why they're doing it because it's leverage, but so
Hmm.
many leaders that are leaning on AI, even for all their images and video. And I
Yeah.
think there's a place for that, but people feel nothing when they see something
Hmm.
AI view. They're like, oh, this is
Right.
fake. And then they're
Right.
instantly turned off. They go to the next. They're not, oh, this
Correct.
is leverage, this is this and that. It's
Yeah. No.
so you are doing yourself a disservice. And I firmly believe working with many photographers, or
Hmm.
just you can take pictures on your phone, but
Sure.
people can't capture. A photographer captures so much, you can't
Hmm.
capture that in AI. And so,
Hmm.
because they have the eye, they have the look, they have the lens. And so, it's worth investing in people who have that gift and craft. I
Hmm.
firmly believe. So, I don't even like touch AI like image content because it's a black hole. And I get why
Yeah.
people like go deep into that hole.
Sure. No, I completely agree. I think yeah, you hit it on the head. People crave and want real connection, real things. Gary V, I'm sure you are aware of him.
Mhm.
I saw a video of his a little while ago, and he said that the cheat code, I mean, he's got lots of cheat codes, right? For 2026 is the messy middle, right? It's not this
Yes.
polished, everything is perfect. It's like hey, this is this cool thing that I want to do, and watch me as I stumble and trip and skin my knees through the process, because that's life. That's reality, is that we don't go from not knowing something to being perfectly polished. That's just
Yes.
not reality.
Yes, that's actually, it's funny that he says that. I haven't heard his stuff in quite a long time. Maybe my algorithm is all, onto
Mhm.
other things. But
Yeah.
that's exactly like with my podcast and the stories that I tell. The messy middle is the key
Mhm.
piece because you get
Yep.
excited in the beginning. The
Yep.
vision, you're like, okay, I got glimpses of it. Now what? And then you get the testing and the process, which really is the gold, you guys. The process is
Mhm.
really the gold. It's who you become. Because
Mhm.
once we get to the end, like once we get to the vision and now it's attained, what's next, right? It's like when we
Right.
buy something online or we get a package at the door, the dopamine hit of like I purchased it, yes, it's coming. Once we get it, we're like, okay,
Right.
what's next?
Yeah.
Like, so again, the messy middle is so important because that's the
Mhm.
connection piece that
Yeah.
people, a lot of people skip, but that's the
Mhm.
part that people want to hear because they're like, if I can hear part of
Mhm.
my story in their story and resonate
Correct.
even a little bit and have a couple of head nods and yeses,
Mhm.
then there must be more here for me to learn from
Right.
them.
Right. And it just makes it more attainable, right? I think that it's so easy to be looking at people, especially for those that are maybe doubting themselves. And I can't wait to dive into, all of your tips and tricks and your encouragement for those people that have stories that they want to tell, but they are concerned or they're nervous
Mm,
or whatever the case is. Where was I going with that? They want to tell this story, but they're just thinking that, oh, if they're up on this high pedestal right there,
yes.
and they miss all of the messy middle stuff, right? They don't understand that people like yourself have been doing this a very, very long time, and it's not
Yes.
from 0 to 100. It's zero, one step at a time. You're just further along down the path.
I tell people if you want a good laugh, go to my YouTube, Molly Trotter-Gomez, and you'll see
Mm.
bloopers from when I was in the news.
Okay.
Still, I
I
keep
love it.
those up there. I
Yeah.
have flubbed over my words. I have almost dropped the F-bomb on television. It wasn't my fault. Somebody wrote a really horrible script and I said it too fast.
Oh
I have
no.
fallen onto, I mean, I have done so many things in the public eye.
Yeah.
So it gets people to be like, take at my expense, by all means, go ahead
Hmm.
and have a
Right.
good laugh and
Right.
understand it cannot nearly be that bad. And
Right.
honestly, when people get to see the real you on a live recording or
Mhm.
a video or just anywhere, even just
Yeah.
sharing, it builds so much courage in them of like, wow, like I
Mhm.
see that they're trying. I see that
Right.
they're, there's something there. They're going for it anyways. And
Sure.
it always sparks something in somebody else.
Right.
Every time. It's like I never have met a person that's not inspired by somebody going for it because there's
Hmm.
something that they need to go for.
Right.
And maybe it's that one person that
Correct.
has that initial spark for them.
I love it. I love it. Absolutely. Well, we are going to get along just fine. This is going to be a fun conversation. Thank you. That's a great start. Now,
Yes.
now that everybody's hooked and wants to hear all the details here, let's dive in a little bit more. So, Molly, tell us a little bit about upbringing, kind of what took you into journalism, kind of how you pivoted, whatever you feel like is worthwhile to share. We'd love to hear it.
Yes. Well, I always like to say, long story short, I've been telling the
Mhm.
story for a very long time, so
I
I
bet
can
you
say
have.
it short. But there's so many key components.
Mhm.
Growing up in a home that was very like sports dominated,
Okay.
and just we were always, I mean, in athletics all the time, in leadership, athletics.
Hmm.
It just brought me into this space of honestly being competitive and always wanting to
Yeah.
be the best. And
Love
I
it.
always had this like, I don't want to have just a regular job. Well, my
Okay.
school, my high school that I was in, it was only 2 years old when I entered and it had a
Okay.
news broadcast, a morning news broadcast. And I was like, that
Nice.
sounds fun. So
Right?
it was like that sounds fun at the age of 14, going into high school, almost 15. And then
Hmm.
I just kind of went down the trail of like, what would this look like? What would this
Right.
look like? So it took a lot like of internships and connections for me to get my foot in the door, but I wanted to do something that just wasn't like the average every day. And I knew telling
Hmm.
stories is something I love to do. I was always intrigued of hearing more
Hmm.
about people, going deeper.
Right.
My friends sometimes in certain circumstances they run the other direction. They're like, "Oh no, here comes Molly with the deep questions," and I'm like, "Well, do you actually want me to get to know you, or do we
I
want to
know,
just play
right?
this like surface level game, which drives me insane?" So, anyways, it's all out of I really want to see and hear what you have to say, and a lot of
Hmm.
people don't take that time. So, I was in the news industry for about 5 years. Long
Okay.
story short, I had a lot of experience being an anchor, being in the field, being the top breaking news reporter. I even got on the weather wall at sports. I mean, I tried almost everything, right?
Hmm.
And then eventually there were times that would pop up where they would want me to alter the story. You need to
Oh,
say it like
wow.
this or throw this in. And I said, no. And they're like, well, we
Yeah.
want that. And I said, no. And I would walk out the door.
Wow.
That was, I think, the beginning of the end, right? Because they were like, oh, she's not going to bend to our will. So we're going
Uh-huh.
to get rid of her. And essentially, I ended up getting fired for inspiring people with a health transformation that I had. And it was the
Wow.
biggest blessing. I don't know how I was
Mm.
going to leave. I had
Yeah.
no idea. But what I did know is about a year before I got out of the news, I got introduced to having a network marketing business. And so that really
Mm.
taught me a lot about connecting with people, networking
Mhm.
intentionally, sharing things that you love. And I had great leadership. And so I love the industry. I've been in and out of the industry for over 10 years.
Mhm.
And that led me into the digital marketing space. I
Okay.
met my now brother-in-law, and
Okay.
he is somebody that basically sees the gold in people and was like, hey, let's do something with that. So I was
Okay.
doing marketing and helping coaches build and scale until I had the ding light bulb
Mhm.
moment.
Right.
I have a skill and I have a skill set that people need to be a more impactful communicator, better communicator,
Mhm.
because you have this dream, this vision you're pouring everything into, but you don't know what to say when it comes to
Mhm.
telling people or the
Right.
content you're putting out there, the brand that you have. So really for the last, like I would say like 8, 9 years, I've been on that mission to really help people find their voice, craft that signature story, and be able to build a profitable brand in like short 3 bullet points, right? God had many different ventures in between of, pausing things and igniting other businesses, just a serial
Mhm.
entrepreneur, if you will. Because
Right.
when I see a problem, I want to bring a solution. And so I have tons of referral partners all over everywhere because I'm like, oh, you're a great person. You have a solution. Let me connect you.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that all came about just God bringing that innate desire to
Mhm.
connect people,
Yeah.
hear their story, and then you get to see what blossoms after that. But so many people, and this is the last point that I'll share, so many people don't believe their voice matters. They don't believe
Yes.
they're worthy to share. They let the enemy dictate and control the narrative or just their own just insecurities rather than what is God calling you to do? And so we need to be in the right circles, especially right now, to have people pour into the things that need to be birthed right now. Words, podcasts,
Yeah.
businesses, missions, you name it.
Yeah, no, I love it. I'm. It's funny because I think my last episode that I recorded was with our good friend Kylie, and I mean, I know you guys are tight, and but just the similar energy and message and passion that you guys have for helping people find their voice and just obviously hers is kind of more of like getting through all of the muck and mire and reaching the full potential that God has for people. So what a cool combination and yeah, so super cool. That's honestly how we came to know each other was
Yeah.
she invited me to that awesome thing. So very cool. Oh my gosh, where do we even go from here? So many things that we want to that I want to go
So
from.
many things.
Yes. So you mentioned right here. This is a perfect lead in for people who say that I don't have a good story. And I will preface this with a little bit of the fact that, and I think you and I talked about this on our very first meeting, is I kind of feel like that sometimes, right? I mean, and it goes across so many different things, whether it's spiritual, whether it's business things or whatever. I don't think that I'm alone in this. So I would love for you to kind of speak to maybe not to me, but I'll take notes. And to all of those people that are like, you know what, my story's not that good. It doesn't matter. What would you say to them to encourage them that is not the case and that we need to kind of step into our stories?
Well, I'm going to answer that with a question to start
Okay.
of when are you going to stop telling yourself that story?
Ooh,
That it doesn't matter,
yeah.
that no one cares.
Mm,
That couldn't be further from the
right.
truth.
Yeah.
Some of the stories that inspire us the most are the ones that just come authentically, heart
Hmm.
open, here you go. We can tell, like our intuition inside of us, we can tell when something's manufactured and they're just doing it for
Hmm.
cheap likes or cheap
Right.
attention, what have you. But when somebody's really behind, like here's who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. This is the
Mhm.
drive behind my mission, my business, my movement,
Right.
whatever that vision is for you. Or just being a better human being because it doesn't matter if
Mhm.
you have a business or not. People have to
Right.
communicate no matter
Sure.
what.
Right.
So learning the different aspects of when are we going to stop telling ourselves that story?
Hmm.
Take note of what came up for you when I said that. Was it like,
Hmm.
oh gosh, like a gut punch or like you like whatever you felt? Don't let it be condemnation. Let it be conviction of, you know what? Something needs to heal there.
Yeah.
Something needs to heal there. One of the things that the Lord gave to me a phrase was your business, and really this is actually any aspect in life, but since I work with a lot of business owners, it's your business can only grow at the extent that you are willing to heal.
Ooh.
And people don't really understand the fact that it is so correlated because many people start things, but it's built on a shaky foundation or a loose foundation. It's not firm. Or, I've been in business for a number of years where I have definitely done it the world's way. And then
Mhm.
I realized I'm like, I do not want to do it this way. And when you do
Mhm.
it God's way and you co-labor with him, which that is what he asks us to do, he can do it on his own, but he
Right.
wants us to co-labor. It's so much better because there's a lot of revealing, healing, just so much more abundance outside of income that comes
Mhm.
into your life, maybe in relationships. You
Right.
feel better, you look at yourself differently.
Mhm.
So your voice does matter, and we
Yeah.
get to start speaking. And the last part I'll add on this, most of the time it comes from something in our childhood or some situation where somebody spoke something over us. Either we decided to agree with a lie that it doesn't
Mhm.
matter, or
Yep.
somebody said, like me, my experience, you're too much.
Yeah.
You talk too much, you're
Gotcha.
too loud, you're too dot,
Mm.
dot, dot.
Right.
And it used to hurt. And then I used to have a lot of pride being like, well, forget you. To be honest,
Yep.
now I see it as my heart hurts for you because something in you is triggered that needs to heal because I'm speaking my truth. So I
Hmm.
hope that you find that piece that you need to
Right.
heal.
Right. I love that. I've heard this before, but just recently, and it kind of correlates to what we're talking about right now. It's if not you, then who? And if not now, then when? And I don't know. I mean, that just seems it's so simple, but it's like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like sit with that for just a second. If not you, then who, right? You have this wonderful business plan, or you have this, you're needing to reach out to, or wanting to reach out to someone that there has been a broken relationship for. There's a million reasons. We can't go through all of them right now. If it's not you, you have that in your heart, you have that in your soul and your spirit, and you have that, but you're not going to do it, then who else is going to do that, right? And then we fool ourselves into thinking, oh well, and I this is kind of a pet peeve of mine, is the whole idea of like New Year's resolutions.
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
against New Year's resolutions, but like, come on, people, really, one time a year is the only time that you can make yourself better.
Right.
And then if you get off track, then oh, I got to wait for next year. I'm like, come on now, we're better than that, right?
Yes, I actually heard this phrase and I posted it on my Instagram. Actually, I think it was all over my social not that long ago. You don't need a new year, you need a new you.
Hmm.
Because we get to evolve, we
Yeah.
get to jump
Yep.
into the next version of ourselves. But so many people are waiting for that version to emerge, yet you're not
Yep.
doing anything. You're not doing anything different. Words are almost like sometimes it can be, and this is going to be super controversial, I think. The word of the year can be actually very dangerous because then we're attaching our identity and our worth and our metrics
Mm.
to that word.
Right.
When some people do get a word from the Lord, here you go, great. Most people just want to pick a word that works for them, but it's not
Mm.
meant for that season. So
Mm.
you get to know what season that you're in.
Right.
And that's a whole nother conversation as far as the
Sure.
seasons go. But so
Right.
many people just latch on to that word when really you just need to take a deep look in and being like, what are we doing?
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Very true. Very true. Oh my gosh, good stuff. Okay, let's pivot to another one just because I've got so many questions that I want to ask, and if I don't just rapid fire, you're an expert at condensing things down into a short amount of time here. So let's see here. How about this one? What advice do you give to people who are afraid of putting themselves out there? I hear that all the time. I have personally felt that of like, we've already talked about, your message does matter, but it's like, okay, I'd much rather either, do the image or a text post. Don't want to be on video. Absolutely not. Don't want to, call the person, whatever, what would you say to the person that's afraid of putting themselves out there?
Your message isn't for you, it's for them. And it
Mm.
doesn't matter how you look or sound. I mean, I know that
Okay.
sounds crazy. It matters to a degree. I'll back it up and say it matters to a degree. But you doing it and telling, like, hey, everyone, I have something to say and putting it out there, that builds confidence in you, which amplifies the message that's not for you, it's for them. So a lot of
Mhm.
people don't put a picture or a video or put posts out there because they're making it more about them than the
Yep.
message that they were given.
Right.
So this may sound a little abrupt, but it's kind of selfish, right?
Yeah.
Like it's selfish if we're holding on to that when that could be the breakthrough for somebody else. So we just get started. And of course, we can, always grow from there. But this is where it's so important to have the right people speaking into you to
Mhm.
help you pull out why don't you like the pictures or
Mhm.
videos. There's usually
Right.
something really deep there.
Sure.
So we get to uncover and heal these things before we really can amplify the message. But kind of
Mhm.
like what you talked about earlier, with we were talking about Gary Vee and the messy middle and just how
Mhm.
that is content that people want to listen to. It's so
Right.
true. So rip off the band-aid and let it be messy. It's
Mhm.
okay. People
Yeah.
aren't sitting there giving you a scorecard and putting it up at
Mhm.
the end, being like, this is a
Right.
6, this is a 9. Like, they're not doing that.
Right. Something that it's one of those things, and I'm sure you've had this before, right? You know it in your head, but it hasn't moved down to your heart yet, right? So this idea of you're so concerned about what the other person is thinking of, and I've told this to other people. I remind my wife of this all the time, but then sometimes like it's in my head, but maybe it's not in my heart, is that people are not thinking about you near as much as you think that they are. And I know that sounds really mean, but I get the impression from you, you're like, you know what, you need to hear it. So forget it. Here we go, right? Would you
Yes.
agree with that? I mean,
Yes.
is that true?
I would say yes, because so many people are thinking like, well, you're thinking about all the things on the other end of doing it, but you're
Yeah.
not actually doing it yet. So
Right.
when you get to the point of like, I'm just going to
Yeah.
put it out there, and it doesn't matter if you get 1 like or 1,000 likes, it doesn't
Right.
matter.
Right.
You're being obedient to the message that you need to
Hmm.
put out there. And I
Right.
co-labor with God with most of my content. I can't say I'm perfect at it, but I do it a
Right.
lot more than I used to. Of,
Hmm.
Lord, is this message for right now? Do you want me to put it out there?
Hmm.
And I've been seeing such a shift even in the way that he's having me speak, that it's like 1% business and 99% some kind of revelation he gave me, bringing people
Wow.
back to the Bible, bringing them back into the true word of helping create disciples. That
Mm.
is a big, big, big passion of mine. Not
Yeah.
saying I'm a pastor or a preacher or anything, but I'm just
Right.
like, maybe you can feed off a word that God gave me to take
Hmm.
you deeper in with Him, which I
Yeah.
never thought that would be like the main part of my content. But I say,
Right.
praise God. If you want to
Right.
use me as a digital disciple, so be
Sure.
it.
Yeah, no, I love it. And again, Kylie, I think is kind of in a similar space. Like I did not see myself ending here, being here, but and Jason and Doug, same thing is like they've got all of these different things. All of you have so many different avenues that you could be making money, but you are, being true and faithful for what God has given you to provide this message, even though it may not sometimes make sense in the moment, but if you're following what God has laid on your heart,
Yes.
He'll take care of the rest. Yeah.
Yes. Amen. Amen. We get to disconnect from
Mhm.
all the desires that we need. He knows that we need it.
Right.
But when we're so focused on the money or the
Hmm.
fame or the likes, or
Yeah.
will people, like people pleasing, you
Yep.
are putting in major roadblocks so your blessing can't even get to you.
Mm.
So you have to
Wow.
take care of those roadblocks, and you get to train your mind. A lot of people are like, oh gosh, mindset training, mindset training. They talk about it so much
Hmm.
because this is the thing that stops you most of the time.
Right.
Your
Right.
your brain tells your heart and tells the rest of your body, here's what we're doing. And if that
Yep.
shuts off or there's blocks there, then the rest can't do what they need to do. So we
Yeah.
get to overpower that by being like, first of all, Jesus, teach me your ways. Holy Spirit, teach me
Hmm.
your ways, and then get into action. It's
Hmm.
not enough just to know, you have to go out and do.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. Couldn't say it better myself. I love it. Very, very good. And I have found myself kind of and I guess it just depends on where you're at in the moment, right? Is that a like, oh my gosh, mindset, or is like, yes, mindset, right? And I think again, that's all in the word right there. But you are correct that it all starts there because if you're not in the right headspace or whatever, none of the rest of the stuff is going to matter. So I love it. Completely agree. Oh my gosh, where do we go from here? Let's talk a little bit more about your company and your vision. And we've established now that you are very spirit led as far as where this path is going at this point. But tell us a little bit about how that was created. What is your passion? What is your goal? How do you help people?
Yes, yes. Well, I'm very grateful because I had a consulting company back in what I think I started in like 2018, 2019, and it was doing extremely well. And then all of a
Okay.
sudden, God shut the door, turned off the faucet. Everything was like, we're done. And I'm like, what do you mean? And he
Yeah.
brought in, I'm giving a little context. He brought in me partnering with a couple other ladies to build a global kingdom minded membership.
Oh
And
wow.
it actually turned into, we went down the network marketing route to see if this might be
Mhm.
a good opportunity for people to share. We explored
Mhm.
so many different options. And
Mhm.
then at one point, the vision had changed. And then I was
Okay.
like, Lord, what do you want me to do? And
Right.
I was praying that he would let me rebirth the consulting company, but I put
Yeah.
it all on the altar. I'm like, I'll go do a regular job. I'll do whatever you want me
Right.
to do, even though my skin was crawling. Not to say
Mm-hmm.
a regular job is bad, it's just not for me.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
And so he, within 3 days, and three is such a just
Wow.
prophetic number, he
Right.
gave me the name, which is called Signature Story Consulting. He gave me the programs, he gave me the framework, the everything that we're going to do
Wow.
start to finish, and how he's going to move through it. Because I tell people, what I help people with is be able to craft their signature story, build a
Okay.
profitable brand, and then of course you have some kind of business or some way you want to make this profitable.
Mhm.
So how do you weave it all in so this brand that
Mhm.
you're building, people know that you actually have something to listen to buy, to
Right.
purchase, and it's not
Sure.
this best kept hidden secret just collecting dust on
Mhm.
the shelf.
Right.
So the thing that he really gave me is like the low hanging fruit. Listen here, the
Mhm.
low hanging fruit is I will help you craft your story. You
Mhm.
will gain confidence because every single one of my clients exude with confidence after we get done working together.
Mhm.
And then you'll be able to really get your business like moving in different directions, whether you're just starting or you're somebody that has a successful, 6, 7 figure business, and we need to
Mhm.
delegate to keep you doing the main thing,
Sure.
and really amplify in other areas. So the low hanging fruit is I'll help you build a profitable brand, craft a story.
Mhm.
The high
Mhm.
hanging fruit is the healing that will take place in these
Mm.
sessions.
Wow.
It's the things that get pulled out. I call it pulling out the gold because there's things that I get like I just feel like the Holy Spirit's like tap tap. Hey, we need to go there. There's
Yeah.
something there and we need to bring it up so they can
Mhm.
come to me and
Mhm.
be able to like address this because if this doesn't get addressed, they're going to keep building on a fractured foundation. And I didn't do that before in my old consulting
Right.
company. So praise God, he shut it down, even though I was like enrolling 5 figure clients a month, multiple 5 figures. And then he was
Right.
like, nope. And I was like, what do you mean? So I went through this crazy wilderness
Mhm.
revamping season of myself
Right.
personally because of what he wanted to birth. And when I rebirthed Signature Story Consulting, what a beautiful just I'm honored. I'm honored to be the
Mhm.
founder. I'm honored to be able to serve people in this way. And I know
Mhm.
God has big plans for the upcoming year just to be able to reach more people
Yeah.
and to delegate more and expand because there's people that need it. And I'm just here to
Yeah.
serve in whatever way he wants.
Right. I love it. I love it. Um, well, I'd love to give some tactical advice, and I'm sure you've got so many things to kind of pull from here, but let's be specific here. What is one piece of storytelling advice that completely changed the game for you? What was you mentioned that you got kind of downloaded with all of this information. What was the key piece that was just a game changer for you?
When it comes to me building the company or what I can help my clients
Just
pull out.
yeah, like storytelling advice. Like people are trying to create and craft their story. What advice would you give them?
One of the key pieces that I think is so powerful because people just don't go deep enough is
Mm,
when you really understand why you're doing something, you want to
okay.
craft a story around it. You need to ask yourself why
Yep.
about 7 times.
Okay.
7 times. Most people do like maybe 2 to 3 layers, maybe four. But they never get to the seven because you usually have all these surface level answers, but then you
Hmm.
really keep digging. And a lot of that is, serving the person that I once was, being able to
Hmm.
have time and financial freedom with my family, being able to help other people step into their purpose.
Hmm.
Like a lot of them are very similar. But when we get so fixated on other things, we don't keep the main thing, then we get
Yeah.
distracted and it loses some of its gifting and anointing. So
Sure.
you have to go 7 layers deep so you
Mm,
can really understand the why. So then you can actually craft a story that
mhm.
actually resonates with people because it'll resonate with you because it's real. But
Right.
then with others, they'll know it's real because they'll feel it.
I love it. Authentic. I love it. All right. Well, Molly, I think we could do this all day long, but I'm sure you have things to do. I have things to do, and we'll keep people wanting more because I'm sure if you're a game for it, we would love to have you back on for some more advice in the future. But for the time being, let's go ahead and wrap up our time today with our three key questions. I'd love to get your take on this. I would call this is part of my signature, right? My signature part of the Empowered Learning podcast is asking these three questions. So let's get your take on these. Molly, who is a leader that you most admire and try to emulate?
Mm. I mean, ultimately, it's Jesus. I am in the scriptures like hands down, seeing how
Mm-hmm.
he responded, how he led, and how he was bold.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Led. I love it. What does you say you
It
how
was
he
led,
led,
how he spoke,
spoke?
and I think maybe inspired. I can't remember
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
third
There
one
you go.
was.
Yeah, you got it. I love it. All right. Very good. I can't write fast enough. All right. How about question number two? let you read it while I'm racing here. What learning has most impacted you in the last year?
What learning has most impacted me? One of the things that I do early in the mornings is I get up like at 2:30 in the morning during the week. I have my
Wow.
quiet time with the Lord before I
Okay.
go into the gym, before I do anything else,
Okay.
because for years I would say, I'll get to you, Lord, when I had time. Never had time.
Mm-hmm.
So I started
Mm-hmm.
waking up early and earlier. Didn't always start at 2. It gradually got to that point over a
Mm-hmm.
number of years, but it's taking that intentional time in the secret
Mm-hmm.
place. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people are looking for the masterminds and the leaders to lead them. And there's a time and a space for that. But
Yep.
there is so much strategy, breakthrough, love,
Mm-hmm.
acceptance, so much that we can just get that is for free,
Sure.
sitting with the Lord
Mm-hmm.
and allowing Him to download and having a heart posture to
Mm-hmm.
receive and also like chase after His heart, not just
Mm-hmm.
a Lord, I need this and I need that, which
Yeah.
I've spent many times doing. I'm like, I need. But then I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I get to be in the presence of the Almighty King. I get to sit here and commune with you and really get to see these words that are in a book that is the manual for life jump off the paper.
Right.
That has done so much more for me. And I have hired many coaches, been in masterminds, like I
Mm-hmm.
have done all those things. But
Right.
the mastermind I want to be at is at the master's table. And that has
Mm-hmm.
drastically impacted my last couple of years, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I love it. Very good. Very well said. Very well said. All right. Last one here. Um, Name of the podcast is Empowered Learning. I love this question just because everybody has a different take on it, and your passion and mission and gifting is different than Kylie's, which is different than Doug's and Jason's and all the people, right? How would you, Molly Trotter-Gomez, empower learning for future generations?
Hmm. That is such a great question. I feel like I can go in so many different ways.
Sure.
Like how would I empower them to learn? Future generations, how I empower them, or I
Yeah.
guess it really is just any way, isn't it? Here's my
However you
brain
want to read
trying to put it in a box.
it.
Let it fly, let it
That's
fly.
right. Yeah.
Hmm. Ultimately, you have to have the disciplines to match your
Okay.
desire.
Oh, I love that.
And I know that discipline is a word that most people need to reframe their perspective on. But it's just like if a parent is creating, like disciplining a child or giving child guidelines, right? Like just because we're adult doesn't mean we can't have like disciplines and guidelines. Like we need those. So we need to be disciplined in order to chase after those desires that God put in our heart. And so many people lack the discipline part. They just think it's going to come up. I wake
Yeah.
up early for a reason. I go to the gym
Yeah.
daily for a reason. I eat way mostly healthy for the most part for a reason. I train my mind on what I want to listen to, who I want to
Right.
listen to, what type of music I allow play. I'm
Mm-hmm.
very disciplined on those things because so much stuff is on repeat and we
Yeah.
don't even know it,
Yeah.
feeding into our soul, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
disrupting what we were created to do.
Yeah.
So, better disciplines to match your desires to get what you want. And then it's not going to take a decade, maybe for some,
Mhm.
depending on the dream, right? You'll see fruit way before the dream comes a reality because you're
Yeah.
going to see different things coming into your life. So, that's how I would empower future generations.
I love it. I love it. Very good. Well, Molly, this has been an absolute pleasure. I thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom and for just your heart. This has been so much fun. I can't wait to get this out to a lot of people. There's some family members that I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to check this out. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh, amazing. Well, Andy, I just appreciate you. Great questions. I love the setup. I've already told you this, like how you're writing
Mhm.
down the keynotes. Like it's
Mhm.
incredible to allow people to catch it, take a screenshot.
Yeah.
But you're amazing for just giving people like myself a platform to be able to share what is
Mhm.
going on and what God has given us to steward.
Right.
So I'm honored to be a guest on your show today.
Oh, I appreciate it. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Well, have a fantastic day. Appreciate your time, and I'm sure we will talk very soon.
Sounds good. Bye,
Take care.
everyone.
What a powerful conversation with Molly. A reminder that your voice matters, your story carries power, and your identity is worth protecting and pursuing. If you resonated with today's episode, be sure to connect with Molly at signaturestoryco.com and follow her on her social media for more wisdom on storytelling, personal branding, and purpose-driven leadership. And don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who needs to hear it. Until next time, stay empowered, stay learning.